Apple Blonde. You're in Portland? That's so cool. Um, just here hanging out, moving some stuff around. I did a bunch of videos. Winnie isn't going live today, so I figured go live. You're not. May as well. I went live earlier as a members only live, but since Winnie wasn't going live tonight, I figured I'd just step in and hang out. And my husband's really grumpy, so I'd rather not be anywhere near him. So we cooked a ham for tomorrow's shindig. We have a shindig tomorrow. And so anyway, that's cooling. We went to go run some errands. I need to take my medication, all the normal stuff. So I figured if I was gonna be in here anyway, might as well hang out with some folks. And how's everybody's Tuesday? I know, right? You're like, Jackie, you have gone live Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Yes, 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 I have. Apparently, I am enjoying the live format. I did film a couple videos today. I haven't finished processing them or anything like that because I still want to keep up my daily videos because people start their day with me, and I like that. I want to keep on doing it. But I did get, if you see in my background, I have a new teddy bear. That one came in the mail today. Um, it was a Goodwill special, and I'm so happy I got it as fast as I did. I didn't know if I'd get it very quickly, and it got here pretty quick. And he is Mr. Kringle. Mr. Kringle is very cute. Hey, Don's Donut, how's it going? See, I've changed some stuff in my background. I have a Santa Bear. He was the last thing I was waiting on. To come in. He's the last decoration I have officially purchased. Now I might have something, I might stumble across something in December, but in general, my Christmas decor is complete. And I'm excited about that. I cooked ham today, which I love because ham you just put in the oven at 325 for like 12 minutes per pound, and it's done, and it's perfect, and it's lovely, and everybody enjoys it. Now I buy my spiral cut ham comes with a glaze. I hate glaze on my ham. I think ham is perfect before the glazing. I think when you glaze it, you ruined it. Now I know some people love glaze. That's great. You can do that, but it's my ham, and my ham never has glaze. Ever. If I ever glaze pork at any type, I normally would like to do like an apricot jam when you're baking it. Very tasty. But very light, not super saturated sweet. I don't mind a fruit compote or a fruit type of glaze, but the artificial sugar glazes that they sell with your hands, no, not for me. And my twin asked me to make a green bean casserole, and I need to see if I even have the ingredients in my house. I know I don't. Um, yeah. I like a salty ham. I like salt more than glaze, and the glaze is sweet. I actually like a Virginia salt ham. I think it's called a Luter's ham. So good. Salt cured, air dried. Man, thing is awesome. Smithfield makes one you can still order, or we used to. They used to buy like a half ham, and you had to salt for a couple days. Salt, soak it to remove the salt, a couple days worth. Then you had to bake it. Then you had to trim it because it's not like your normal grocery store ham, guys. So that was an ordeal and a half. And we used to do that all the time because it was my grandmother's favorite ham, her favorite type of ham, because they lived in Virginia for a while. And a good while, actually. So anyhow, that was my childhood memories. Um, I love glaze. We usually order from Honey Baked Hams. Nice, Katie. I've never actually had a honey baked ham from Honey Baked Ham. Someday, maybe someday. Um, but we're ham people. We're pork people. We love all things coming off a hog. And James used to raise pigs. So, well, reluctantly for 4-H. That's my Snoopy cup. Today is Snoopy Day. James is a little stressed out. He's rewriting his resume. He is trying to apply for a position coming up that's already open, actually. He just needs to apply and submit, but he hasn't written a resume in 4 years. Oh, excuse me, 14 years. 14 years. 4 years. He's been working at our company. So he's a little out of practice. You gotta go, really, Jackie? So can't even sit down, and I dropped my phone. So it's kind of intimidating to sit there and write through all your accomplishments and what programs you've used and how you've done things. And 14 years is a lot of info to wade through. Hey, Monarch. Hi, friends. Yeah, Winnie's not here. Oh, you know what? I forgot to set in my settings. Well, let me go pop over to my settings real quick. So I did have a members live earlier. And right now we're in a regular live. So all the fun times. So give the video a like. I know it's annoying, like, it's frustrating me with YouTube, and I love YouTube, YouTube, I love you, algorithm, but you're frustrating because YouTube and values engagement, right? They want people to engage. Thumbs up, thumbs down. They don't care which one. They just want engagement. They want comments to show people care about what you're talking about. But when you go into a live, you have to back out of it to hit the like button to go back into it. It's so frustrating. Anyway, what's everybody else doing on this lovely Tuesday? How's the weather where we're at? It's in the 80s, which is lovely here. Long enough for a long sleeve, cool enough for long sleeves, warm enough to be annoyed when you're leaving office. You're too warm. Mm. Good night, Dawn. Um, have a good night. So Dawn says, just want to stop by and say hi. Quick hello, quick couple things we need to do for bed. Bye, Dawn. Yeah, have a nice evening. Yeah, no, I'm happy you stopped by. No, I'm just here to hang out. Nothing earth shattering. No unboxings. Just talking, chatting. I have dropped my car off at the dealer's check engine light. We had an extra car for me to use while at the dealer's. Oh, hey, Julie. Did I tell you guys? Yes, I told everybody yesterday in my live about how I killed my car almost. So I had sat in it with the battery running, and so without realizing how long I had been in the car. And so when James got into the car, the electrical was not quite working. It was so low, it wouldn't start the car, so we had to jump it, right? And while he was in the engine compartment, he was sitting there fiddling with the cables. Hey, Jennifer, I figured I'd go live because Winnie said she wasn't going live tonight, so I figured, hey, I'll do it. Why not? I finished the ham. So anyway, so James is fiddling with the cables on the car, and today, and he's been fiddling with a lot of other things on the brain, of the car. And I'm like, has our car always done this? And he's like, what? The start stop thing? So apparently it's always had the function of auto stop when you're idling at a light, you know how your engine will stop and then it will come back on again. Well, it's always been there. It's always been a feature. We just didn't know it because we bought this car used a few months back and it was disabled on in the brain. He had gone through all the menus and he adjusted it so that, and that's economic saving things, right? So that when you're not just running gas while you're stopped. It's a cost saving things. And so, but the thing is, we didn't know. And I was like, it was weird. Like, did I break the car? It's like, did I do that? He goes, no, I set the setting. Hey, Maria. Yeah, so it was really funny because we're sitting in the car. We wanted to go see his mom. We had to go get groceries. So we're talking about what she wants to do for Thanksgiving. So we're thinking about going to a restaurant. We never get to celebrate Thanksgiving on Thanksgiving with his family because my brother-in-law works in food. He does food for a military facility, so troops eat all the time, right? So, and it's actually a lot more involved because if troops are on base and not adopted out by people, some people will adopt family members and stuff, or adopt a troop while you for Thanksgiving. They're eating at the dining facility, so Thanksgiving meals are a little bit more special, a little bit more involved, a little bit more services, and they decorate the hall. It's a big deal. So they'll have a Thanksgiving service um, all day Thanksgiving to feed the troops, and it's a lot of work. So we never have Thanksgiving with his family on Thanksgiving. His it's always been the week before, the week after, somewhere. Christmas, same way. Ramadan actually is the worst month. He's so busy during Ramadan because they have to have special meals made specifically after sundown. Um, that it's a lot. So any holidays with his family, James's family, we always had to get together whenever his brother was available. And he said, "Oh no, you can get together without me." I'm like, "No, it's not a holiday if we're not all together. It doesn't matter what day we get together as long as we're all together." So that's gonna come up, and I'm not looking forward to it. I will be honest, I am not looking forward to it. The restaurant we are looking to go to is a good hour away from my house. So by the time we get his mother, drive out there, go to the restaurant, enjoy company, get home. We're looking 4 to 5 hour experience here. It's a lot. So, but that's what we're doing. It's fine. It's fine. Actually, I think it might be further than an hour. Um, it's sweatshirt weather in San Diego lows. Oh my gosh, 40s and 60s. See, here's the thing: we have lows in the 60s and highs in the 80s. I don't even want to think about 40s. Not looking forward to being with everyone. Oh, Jennifer, I don't enjoy um my husband's family. Um, I look at my husband thinking he's the diamond in the group. Like, how are you related to everybody here? And I don't mind them, but they're very depressed, in their nature. So it's very difficult. They don't do small talk. They don't really care about my life or James's life, really. We, honest to goodness, talk about dogs and the weather. You guys know more about me than they do, and they've known me for 17 years because they don't care. You know, his sister-in-law is a stay-at-home mom. Um, Dorian is now an 18-year-old, finished high school, not going to college, and Mike works all the time, and that's all they do. And that's all they talk about. It's a perfect hoodie weather here in Maine, 44 right now. Perfect crisp fall weather. 44 is not perfect. 44 is cold. Well, a restaurant is good. You can people watch. Yes, yes. I try to make the best of a bad situation. Honestly, I normally would just cook Thanksgiving and have people come here because here's the thing. His family, this is why the food gathering is so difficult. They're always food specific. So his sister-in-law has all these food allergies. His nephew only eats a few items. His brother's more open to eating things, but he doesn't like any cooked fruit. He doesn't like pumpkin spice. His mother wants very specific traditional foods from her family that I don't know because it was her mother, and by the time I came along, her mother had already passed. So I don't know these family recipes that she grew up with. And his mother wants these things, even though nobody eats them in her family, she wants those items on the table. So this is what I'm talking about marriage, dealing with people's um cultures, and that's the hardest thing about being married in a relationship, honestly, is I have my family traditions I grew up with, they have their family traditions. And then we get married and we're together, and it was fine in the beginning because everybody was in their own households. But now that the households are, you know, Karen's, she got divorced, and then James's father passed, and then so she's on her own. So then we combine, oh, let's do Thanksgiving together, and then Kristen and Mike, you know, we used to all get together at his mother's home 5 times a year: Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, and her birthday. And who am I missing? Christmas, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter. I'm missing something. Oh, I think it was something in May. Anyway, doesn't matter. Oh, Dorian's birthday, and then her birthday. So 5 times a year, we would go to his mom's house, and that's the only time we saw his family. Other than that, we never did. And sometimes we didn't go for Thanksgiving. Sometimes we had to go to Thanksgiving with my family, my extended family. So anyway, but then things change. Family, she now lives with us. Hey, Melissa, Mother's Day, May. That's right, Jennifer. Mother's Day, Mother's Day. Thank you. It was Mother's Day, her birthday, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter. And honestly, out of those days to visit, the most important one to my mother-in-law was Easter. Um, the kids, of course, it was always Christmas. But see, the Thanksgiving, Christmas had so many different family traditions stuck in there. It's really hard to deal with having to come across other people's food traditions and like just everything. Like some people do Thanksgiving on paper plates watching a ball game. Some people do Thanksgiving on china, with like a full 5-course meal or something. Some people go out to eat. Some people do nothing. And then you marry somebody and you have my family was super formal. James's family was on paper plates. you know? So but they wanted the foods had to be the same foods, right? It had to be the turkey, it had to be the certain sides. It had to be this side and that side. These little accoutrements had to be on the table, like the gherkins and the little snack things and the pre-dinners and or the pre, before main and then the main and then the after, dinners. And then we'd have to sit and then we'd have, and then in my family, it was the coffee and the before dinners and then the talking and then the drinks and then you have the dinner, and then you have the main dish and then you have the evening dish and you have the coffees after and then you talk forever and then the alcohol comes out. It takes forever. And it used to be a lot of fun. My sister loves it. My sister's a party person. She's a social person. She enjoys having a lot of people around her. I stress out. I stress out over the prepping, the cooking, the cleaning, um, washing the dishes, all of it. Uh, Thanksgiving with my family would be like 4 to 5 hour meal. Legitimately, we would have to change when we would do family Thanksgiving with my grandmother, and my aunt, when everybody was alive still. We changed clothing for dinner. We literally did. We wore the dinner clothing. It was nice clothing. Um, Better than your Sunday best, evening wear, and then you had the whole shebang, and it was a very many hour affair. And my sister loved it, and I have trauma from it. uh, Best part, lasagna for me is the best part of Thanksgiving, says Apple Blonde. Jennifer says leftover turkey sandwiches that have to be the one on under bread. I loved when I did Thanksgiving. Okay, so my family had issues, right? So my aunt would do her Thanksgiving with everybody, and then my grandmother still wanted our little intimate. And here's the thing: my aunt is my grandmother's daughter, obviously. So, but she had married and moved out of the family when she was 18, and my father was her second. My aunt and dad were 10 years apart. So my dad was really more like as only child a lot of times. So my grandmother always considered having my father with us, Jennifer and I, to be the nuclear intimate Thanksgiving. And we would go over to my grandmother's or my aunt's house, the Hansons, to have the big formal Thanksgiving with all the cousins, her children, whatever. And then we would have so we'd have two Thanksgivings. So I always look forward to Thanksgiving at my grandmother's because I cooked. It was me cooking. Jenny and I cooked. We made biscuits. We made pies. My grandmother taught me to make pies from scratch. We made all the foods. We made the turkey. My dad made the ham. We made all the side dishes, um, set the table, and cleaned everything. But that meant I spent all my time in the kitchen. Um, we had dinner, and then I spent all the evening cleaning. So I didn't have to deal with the socializing, even though they're my own family. So my sister did all that. And I'm having a great time in the kitchen. And the next day, I would make turkey soup. That is my favorite thing. You take the carcass of the turkey and you make a soup. And the first time or you take the ham, or you take both, you make ham bean soup, or you just make ham and beans, or you make turkey soup. We always make turkey soup. And then, because you always had leftover vegetables, you always had leftover celery, you always had leftover onions. Because if you made dressing, you use celery, onions, and and if you have carrots or a side dish, you had carrots. And if you had wild rice or whatever, or even if you had potatoes, you had a soup stuff for soup. So I always made a wild rice soup, turkey soup with vegetables, always. I mean, always. So, and then I meet my husband and his family, and the first time we took a turkey, typical American family, he's going to throw out the carcass. Like, stop! Like, no, 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 no. What are you doing? That we need that. We need to keep the bones. This is very important. This is vital. You cannot throw away the turkey. He's like, what? I put the turkey carcass and all the bones into a Ziploc baggie and throw it in the freezer. And he's like, what are you doing? Like, that's soup. He's like, what do you mean soup? It's like, because they don't make soup. They don't, I mean, most of him growing up is eating um not food on the bone. It's food that has been filleted and it's already been prepared into pieces. Like, so when I come around and I'm like, turkeys come in a hole, and chickens come in a hole, and chicken comes on the bone, and when I get a rotisserie chicken, when I get it out of the supermarket, that body of the rotisserie, the bones become a soup, you know. Or I have learned to give up, and I do throw them away occasionally. We don't get them very often. James actually doesn't like chicken, so I'm like, fine, and I keep the ham bone. I make ham bone, even if the ham bone is only with pinto beans, it makes the pinto beans so much better. And so anyway, we always cooked like that, but his family didn't cook like that. So to him, me throwing and keeping a turkey carcass, he's like, well, that's garbage. That's done with. Like, no, no, that's not done with. That had a lot of meat on there, and you really want the broth out of that, and it's much better if you. And I'm giving him the whole story, and he watched me make soup from scratch, which he had never seen. His parents did not make soup. I'm like, how are you alive? It's like, for me, it's like, how, but his dad would make gumbo, and which is a soup stew, and she would make chili, and they'd make jambalaya, a lot of Creole food, but it's a very specific food to make those. You have to. That's not using the leftover vegetables in your cabinet and making a stew or a soup, right? And we never got to go to the groceries often because my father always wanted to go once a month only, and we only would go to this military exchange. And we would have vegetables. So I learned how to use vegetables. I learned a little older than they should, a little wrinkled, a little like, yeah, a little, but you can perk them up by soaking them in water, there's stuff you can, just because it doesn't look perfect, doesn't mean it isn't edible. And James didn't understand that. So he is very unsure about food prep, everything about food. I said, no, there's nothing wrong with that apple. It's just wrinkly. I can just cut that up and turn that into blah, blah, blah. And he's like, what? It's like, no, it's fine. I said, raisins are just dried grapes. It's like the vegetable might look a little old, but the vegetable's fine. We're gonna throw it in a pot you won't notice. It's fine. So he just doesn't really understand cooking. He's really good at baking because baking is science and measurements. I suck at baking. I hate science and measurements when it comes to. I cook what I feel. I feel it. Like, oh, dash of this, dash of that. I want to add this. I want this flavor to be different, and it gives him anxiety. It gives him anxiety. But but for me, watching him make a box mix of something, I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. And sometimes I'll just throw in. I can make biscuits from scratch. Like, that's easy to do because there's no leavening agents. It's the leavening agents, just ratios. Most of cooking is ratios. Even baking is ratios, right? It's like parts of this to parts of that, right? But I hate the act of having to measure or sift. And so if you don't do those things regularly, things don't come out as well. This is why I don't bake. I bake like casseroles or stews or roasts. That I can do. Um, Cooking is a mystery to many people. Cooking is definitely, I am 44, and even in my generation, most of my classmates in my year growing up, they never cooked. They literally never cooked. Their parents never had them cook. They didn't know how to cook. They grew up, we all moved out, we all left home, and they would call me, "Hey, Jackie, how do you make this? Hey, Jackie, what do you do?" And you know what? It's like cooking is a skill, life skill. Like somebody has to make food, you know, and it doesn't matter who. And you normally have like I kind of did my sister wrong because I was always the one cooking, and because I liked doing it when I was growing up, so she didn't do that much cooking. But now she's the one with two children, and they are food picky because their dad is food picky, and having to, you know, when people complain about their children's palates as adults, and if they're adults and they're still eating chicken nuggets, it's because we have something called the kids menu at every restaurant in America. And on the kids menu at every restaurant in America, it tends to be there is a personal size pizza, there is a hamburger, there is a chicken nuggets. That is what's on most kid menus in most restaurants, right? And then they grow up only eating those things. Like why would they want to eat fish if you only give them fish sticks at school? Nobody likes fish sticks at school. That's not how fish tastes good, you know? Um baking works better measuring by weight. Exactly, Jolie. I know. That's why I'm not good at it. A mac and cheese. Oh yeah, macaroni and cheese. Like my sister's kids, they live off macaroni and cheese. It used to be hot dogs. I think they've grown out of the hot dog phase now, but they're still in the mac and cheese phase. Um, Violet's 10. She still just wants to eat chicken, plain chicken. Uh, Katie says, "I'm too impatient to cook and bake." Hey, look, I'm not saying I'm a saint. We eat out a lot because I don't have time to cook all the time. And the thing is, James doesn't like leftovers, so I am not prepared to spend a couple hours of my evening every night cooking and cleaning just because James doesn't want to eat. Like, I'm serious. We're 44. Sometimes dinner is cereal. Today's dinner was pieces of ham. It wasn't a meal. It wasn't a side with, you know, a starch and a vegetable and ham. No, as I was cutting up the ham, I said, "Here's some pieces of ham. You know, the end pieces. Like that's what you're getting for dinner to feed yourself." You know, yesterday I had cereal for dinner. Literally, it's like I don't have time. I don't have time. I used to do this. I used to come home every day. I used to cook even when we were married before, but now it's like, you know what? I'm over it. I am over it. And you know what? He just likes eating out anyway. So it's like fine if he's and when I say eating out, guys, I'm like we get a hamburger in the drive-through, or I get a grilled cheese sandwich in the drive-through, or you know, I'm not saying this is good and healthy. Again, I'm not saying take my advice about money, food, or diet. I mean, look at me and look at the bags. This is not how you state employee, average income. This is not how you do things. You know, smart people pay off stuff, don't have debt. That's not me. I live the typical American lifestyle. I am your average American, guys. Well, I'm happy that I'm educated. You know, I don't know how many average Americans have a graduate school, but I do. And my sister does. My sister actually finished her graduate school. I'm jealous. So she has her sister and my sister Jennifer and her husband both have master's degrees. My dad had two master's degrees. My grandmother had master's classes like I did. My grandfather had a PhD. We're overly educated, thinky people. We like to sit here and ponder about the world around us, and we can't help it. My grandfather's PhD was a specialty in Western history, because he's from Oklahoma, and he had a lot of. It's really funny. If my grandfather had been alive, he would have loved to meet my husband because my husband's family is part of his. My husband's last name is Dalton, so he's part of the Dalton gang. They were a notorious Western um, bank robbers. Is this focusing right? I have so much stuff in my background. Sometimes I feel like it doesn't see me. Um, cereal for dinner sounds good. Apple Jacks, but we only have oatmeal in the house. That's only two of us. So cooking from scratch is, oh yeah. Yeah, we cooked from scratch because it was the cheapest way to do it. And it was the only way I knew how. I actually didn't know how to cook food. Um, So there's this. There used to be this Food Network show called Semi Homemade, where you took partially pre-made things with some homemade things and made a dinner. Well, we didn't have canned food very much at all in Asia. Everything was. I mean, in Asia, everything is bought fresh that day. Most of, come on, this is. It's not just me, right? Okay, there we go. I knew I wasn't focused. Um, so we went from that type of cooking, but in Thailand I had staff. We had staff. My mother had staff. We had cooks, and they part of their daily duties was to go get food daily. So even though we had refrigeration, we had two refrigerators. We had some backstock, but that's just the culture, as you go to the market every day. And then we moved to America, we went to the market our groceries like once a month. And then we had but to keep things once a month, we had things like flour and butter and sugar and whole things, baking powder and baking soda, all that stuff because it's cheaper by unit than to buy boxed things like boxed bread, boxed biscuit. It's just the biscuit mix is already pre-mixed, and what's in a biscuit mix other than flour and leavening agents, and you can buy those separately. So that's how we did. Hey, Luxational, have a great night, Jackie. Good night. Yay. Have a nice day, Apple Blonde. Um, so it's just one of those things. So I didn't really learn how to, and I would read recipe books, and I didn't have 8 ounces of diced tomatoes. I had tomatoes, which I know is weird that fresh food is more available than canned food, but my father didn't like canned food, so we didn't have canned food, so I didn't know how to cook with canned food, Although they do say, hey, Grace, um, Monica, they see that canned tomato sauce actually is very better. It's better than fresh tomatoes because when you can tomatoes to make sauces, they they can get them when they're ripe off the vine or not. They tend to be a little bit better. They're actually better because that they can the fresh tomatoes in most grocery stores they pick green and they sit and ripen, so they're not as good as vine ripened. But anyway, I digress. Tomatoes were the only thing I ever grew, and it's the only vegetable my husband hates, or fruit, whatever you call it. Hey, Grace. Hey, everybody. We're just hanging out and talking because Winnie's not live today, so I figured I'd just go talk and hang out with you guys. James is stressing out. He's writing a resume, and the puppies were not being very cooperative. Because I was dealing with a ham. Pugs will be pugs, dogs will be dogs, and they were begging badly. And so we had to entertain them. Um, some foods are healthier after cooking. Tomatoes is one. Yeah, tomatoes is one of them. Um, so anyway, it's just that's what I did today. I felt very accomplished. Yes, my kitchen's a mess. It's probably have PB&J if I have. Oh yeah, I like. Here's the thing. I love PB&J. James does not like peanut butter. I'm like, James, you eat peanuts. You like peanuts. What is wrong with peanut butter? I have no idea what he has against peanut butter, but he doesn't like it. I'm like, okay. But then he doesn't like avocados either or guacamole. I'm like, you're crazy. Um, so maybe it's just a texture thing, But we didn't have the option to choose food, um, because we're Asian kids, and when you go visit your family, you try everything. It doesn't matter what it is. There was none of this cater to the kid thing. It was like, no, you do not embarrass your parents, and you eat whatever they put in front of you, or else. And I didn't care if it doesn't matter if you liked it, you ate it, but you were quiet and you were polite. Because that's how it went with our house, which I think is funny now. Because I look at Jen and her kids, and I'm like, it's so different. Like having families go into restaurants and they'll bring outside food for their kids to eat because there is not a food allergy. This is just a food preference because their kids won't eat the food at the restaurant. You know, Luxational says, I've been addicted to PB&J sandwiches lately, and my boyfriend's My boyfriends are like kids and sit and make them together, and we hang out together. That's cool. That's so cool, Lux. When I was growing up, you ate what was given to you and you went hungry. Exactly. There really was no option. And there was no going down to the pantry, and there really wasn't even pre-made food for snacking. You really honestly ate what was served because it was made, and then if you didn't eat it, you didn't eat. I think my parents, my dad, when we lived in Michigan, always had apples available for us because Michigan has a lot of apples, so we could always eat an apple. But dinner, I mean, half the time I cook dinner. Jennifer and I have been cooking since we were 12. You know, we started baking at 10, and we started cooking not full meals, but cooking at 12, and we started cooking full time at 13, 14. Like, I was cooking every meal at dinner. It wasn't, a single parent. Dad was working. I came home from school at 4 o'clock, so I would, cook dinner, at 14. It never occurred to me not to. It's like, because Dad came home and at 6 o'clock we all had dinner. You know, I've been lucky to, I've been lucky to find him. That's good, Lux. Hmm. I was spoiled brat. I got what I wanted and said, yeah. I mean, that's a lot of people do that, and my sister does that with her children. Her children, if they don't want it, they don't have to eat it, and if they don't like it, they don't have they have to try it, and then they they know what their kids will eat, and they'll serve. But that's why I hate family dinner, because when I have to deal with his family, they have food issues, food texture issues. One person doesn't eat potatoes at all. One person doesn't eat any kind of fruits. One person only likes, I mean, it's the most basic of basics foods. It's very rough. Um, balut and I know what balut is, but I don't know what, yeah, the other one is. Katie, here's the thing. I've had to eat a century egg. I hate those. Hate them. I had to eat shark fin soup. Despise it. Hate it. And you know what I hated the most that they made me drink all the time? And I'm going to say it's wrong. Chrysanthemum tea. I hate it. You drank it. And you didn't have to drink all of it. You just couldn't make a face, and you just had to try to eat it and pretend to eat it. And then if you didn't finish your food, you didn't finish your food. That's fine. You know, very, very mature of you. My dad was older. We had to deal with it. Um, try PB&J grilled. Wait, a grill? Okay, now I put PB&J on toast and eaten a toasted sandwich like that, but I've never grilled it like with the peanut butter and jelly on the inside. I used to actually make peanut butter and banana sandwiches, which I love. And then my dad told me about peanut butter and honey sandwiches, which is a little too sweet, but it's good. Um, a stew made with pig blood. Oh, I love pig's blood. I had to eat that too. Katie, I had to eat that too. I had to eat the pig's blood and blood pudding, blood cake. Not like English blood sausage pudding. No, no, blood pudding in Asia, which is just congealed blood. And my mother used to say it's good for you, it's healthy. I'm like fine, and it is. It's high in iron. Doesn't mean I want to eat it. Haha, it's because as kids the taste buds are a lot more sharp. So bitter, strong flavored foods can be putting. Yeah, I agree. It sounds delicious, luxational. Yes, now I know. Monica, it's delicious. Grilled cheese with PB&J. See, I love a grilled cheese sandwich, so I would not be opposed to trying a grilled PB&J. I really want. Here's the thing, though, Lux. What jelly are you putting in your sandwich? I have found that most people in America make their peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with grape, which doesn't taste like grape. I've always used strawberry and preserves, not a jelly. Actually, I've always used a fruit preserve versus a jelly. But I have found that most people use grape jelly. And I'm like, it doesn't even taste like grapes, you know? And I know I've had this conversation here before. Yeah. So here's a controversial question. PB&J on white bread or wheat bread? I get bougie. Blackberry jam. Like, oh, I love blackberry jam. I love blackberries. My grandmother used to grow them. Blackberries, raspberries are my favorites. Currants, they don't grow in America, but we used to be able to get Hero as the brand, currant, red currant jam. Can't get anymore. Don't know where it is. Hey, Jeanette. Um, anyway, I'm probably gonna fixing to get off this thing and go to bed. I'm tired and I have a very big day tomorrow. We have our quarterly meeting, which is, big powwow. Means lots of presentations. And then we have our company Thanksgiving. And then we have a meeting later in the afternoon and top of all the other work we have to do. Oh yeah. Amish PG is awesome. Mixed salty and nice. Strawberry, raspberry, or blueberry jam, says Maria. Yum! Now I'm hungry. And I just ate ham. But you know what? I have peanut butter at my desk at the office. I might have to go find it tomorrow and have. But no, we're having a company luncheon. Uh, so anyway, mm, I am gonna say I'm done for the night, and I will see everybody the next time I go live. Since I can't keep to a schedule, um, I'm pretty sure I told you yesterday, oh, I might see you Wednesday, and here it is Tuesday, because I didn't realize Winnie wasn't going to go live. So, hey, anyhow, you guys, everybody have a fabulous week. Have a great pre-turkey week. A lot of places will have celebration in the offices up this week, because a lot of people next week will take the whole week off. So, anyway, bye, everybody.